Hello, low carbers. In this video, I have a conversation with low carb advocate Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo. I basically shared all about low carb based on my own experience as well as those experiences I had with my own metabolic syndrome patients. You may not have yet encountered this video, so I am posting this here in my channel and podcast platforms. We talked in Filipino or Tagalog, so if you have a difficulty with understanding it, you may just breeze through the subtitles in English. So let's go.
Hello everyone! Welcome to a very special NLCD series episode kasi surprise yung ating episode ngayon. But I'm sure ayaw niyong ma-miss yung episode na to because this is going to be the first na you will meet another low-carb doctor. It's good news for our community dahil dumadami na po tayo and he is not just any other doctor. He is a specialist, a board-certified neurologist practicing here in the Philippines and practicing low carb na din sa kanyang sarili and sa kanyang mga patients. So, please share this video to your timeline, to your FB groups, to your group chats para lahat ay makakilala sa ating very new but very dedicated low carb neurologist. We have Dr. Don Agcopra. Hello, Doc! Nice to meet you po!
Hello, good day to all and to your followers, Dr. Grace. Hello, low carbers.
Yes, Doc. Marami na nangangumusta dito. So, nag-hi na silang lahat. So, start na tayo. Kasi si Doc, alam nyo, babalik pa ng ospital yan. May mga pasyenteng naghihintay. So, we will not keep him for so long. Pero Doc, tell us about yourself and your low-carb journey.
Okay, so I think this is my first time for me to share my experience in your platform, Dr. Grace. No? But I have told my story to a lot of my friends and patients already, and I'm sure I think this would be of motivation also to all of your viewers and platform followers. I have a website. It's older. It's www.lowcarbhealthmd.com. So in the landing page, I place my own experience there for all to see. So essentially, I've been low carb already for about running almost 3 years. It's not as long as you, but the important thing is I first got into low carb when I realized that I was gaining weight and my blood pressure was shooting up during the pandemic when nung panahon na first shot ng vaccination. That was very significant for me kasi the nurse in the hospital told me, "Look, you have to rest, you have to wait because your blood pressure is high." And then, oh come on, are you sure? And then she said, it's 140 over 100. And then I told her, baka medyo takot lang ako. Pero naisip ko, how come my BP is that high? I was at a denial because for the past years, every now and then, my BP goes up already. So, that happened again during the second shot of the Sinovac vaccine. Mataas pa rin yung BP ko. And then somehow that knocked some sense into my head. And then I tried to figure out what in the world is wrong with me. And then I was looking at my weight. My BMI was already, I think, 28 at that time. I have a picture in my landing page. Talagang medyo mataba na ako. It's more of an abdominal obesity. I think my waistline at that time was, quite parang 33 yata. So, pero kasi, medyo denial pa rin kasi ako. Kasi I've been like that for like 10 to 15 years already. It's like a slow gain in weight na parang akalain mo normal. When you see your batchmates, they say, everybody's gaining weight. So it's like everybody thinks it's normal to be gaining weight. And then parang yung nangyayari, just disregard it. And then ako kasi, I've been doing my best to be a vegetarian for a long time. After high school, I was strict vegetarian because my father died from acute myocardial infarction, yung massive heart attack. So I was thinking, my father died because of eating too much fat. He was a doctor, he was a family physician. So that really, it got so influenced me a lot. So I was very, very almost strict vegetarian type. Pero I was wondering, how come if I'm strict vegetarian, I only eat a little, even eggs, I eat only the white. I avoid the yellow and all that. I abhor lechon like it's the plague. And then, at that point in time, nung first dose ng vaccine sa COVID, I reviewed my notes, parang naisip ko, wait, parang may metabolic syndrome ako. You know, metabolic syndrome. Like, I was reviewing, it's like, di ba, metabolic syndrome is like criteria is 5 from the American Diabetic Association and the National Heart, Lung, Blood Institute of the US. So, ni-review ko yun kasi I remembered metabolic syndrome from way back in my internal medicine rotation. Tapos, naisip ko, teka, 3 out of 5 metabolic syndrome and I was at least 4. Parang pwede pa nga akong magpa-5 kasi parang pag lahat ng criteria, mataba na ako, abdominal obesity, yung BP ko tumataas na, yung fasting blood sugar ko is at least 3 to 5 times pre-diabetic na more than 100. Hindi pa nga umabot ng 126, pero more than 100, that's already metabolic syndrome. Yung triglyceride ko, ang taas. Almost 200 oftentimes when I do blood test. And then, my HDL is less than, cut-off kasi sa lalaki, 40, so milligrams per deciliter. So, mas mababa ng 40 oftentimes when I do my lipid profile. Sabi ko, teka, perfect ko yata ako sa metabolic syndrome. So, I went back to my notes, I dug down deep, then I realized, teka, how come it's like it's all related to insulin resistance? Kasi di ba metabolic syndrome, the main driver is insulin resistance. And then I was thinking vegetarian diet should help, pero how come I'm going nowhere? And then I dug down deeper and deeper into literature. Nakita ko, teka, daming hindi ko nabasa ng mga studies. Yung hindi pinakita sa atin, hindi nga tinuro sa atin sa medical school, hindi lumalabas sa conventions. Kunwari sa amin, I attend internal medicine meetings and conventions every now and then. And also in our neurology association, we have lectures. But no, not much or not even one of these lectures that I was reading in my research in the internet is coming up. Like let's say, yung lecture for example, yung study for example ni Dr. Richard Feynman, that low carbohydrate as the first approach to reversing or treating patients with type 2 diabetes. Parang sabi ko, it's the first time for me to be reading about these studies. And then, how come I haven't heard of these studies in way back medical school, even in conferences, yung RTDs, RTDs sponsored by our friends in the pharmaceutical industry. So, isip ko, teka, may metabolic syndrome nga ako. And then, my main question is, how will I address it? And then, it all comes out, it's like right there before my very eyes. Address it by lowering your carbohydrate in your diet because parang common sense, what's causing the blood sugar to go up, which causes the insulin resistance. There are three kinds of macronutrients: carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And then I'm sure your listeners, your viewers are already familiar. You have made them familiar with that. I salute you for that, ma'am. So it's like, of course, the main driver for increasing blood glucose is carbohydrates because they get broken down into simple sugars and then they are absorbed by the intestine. So our blood sugar goes up and then it drives the elevation of insulin and chronic frequent elevation of insulin. Tumataas yung insulin natin. Then that leads to chronic hyperinsulinemia, and then it results to resistance of our body, selective insulin resistance of many of our body cells to insulin. For example, the muscle cells. So parang yun yung common sense driver cause effect. So I was trying to parang refresh my knowledge about it all. Parang, teka, ang simple lang ito. Ba't hindi na ituro sa medical school? Ba't hindi na ibabanggit dun sa conferences, at least namin, kasi like we say, we are in neurology, so many of our patients have stroke, and then most of the stroke, two types, yung bumara yung ugat sa utak at saka yung pumutok na ugat, nag-hemorrhage sa brain. Either way, yung bumara yung ugat is due to yung kalawang or atherogenic plaque na nag-accumulate sa blood vessel tapos bumara. Pag pumutok yung ugat, tumaas yung blood pressure, hypertension. Yun kasi yung main drivers nun still, insulin resistance. So naisip ko, teka, ang daming pasyente ko, insulin resistant pala. Yun yung isang pinakamalaking realization ko. And then, there came a point in time after, I think, 1 to 2 weeks of reading all about low carb and metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Tapos, sabi ko, I've got to give this a try. Kasi pag hindi to nag-work, I'll prove it to myself. At that time, I was taking 3 medications already. 1 for hypertension, losartan. 1 for, kasi di ba, statin. It's hammered into our heads, statin. So nag-statin na ako. At saka mataas yung uric acid ko. At that time, I was thinking, bakit mataas yung uric acid ko? Hindi naman ako kumakain ng maraming lamang loob, etc. So I was taking febuxostat. So 3 yun at least. So sabi ko, there came a point in time after 2 weeks of reading all those stuff about low carb and metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. Sabi ko, I'll give this a try. Parang contra gusto. Yung tipong, teka, am I doing the right thing? This is not what I was taught in medical school. This is against my innermost knowledge for a long time. So, parang yung sa neuro, tinatawag natin cognitive dissonance. Nagko-cognitive dissonance ako, parang gagawin ko to, hindi. So, there came a point in time, sabi ko, gagawin ko to. I'll give myself at least 1 week and I'll check my parameters, my weight, and then I'll check my blood test, etc. But I thought, if I have to do this just to prove to myself that low carb really works, because I've been, as I told you, a vegetarian for so long, I told myself, if I have to do this, I'll stop all my medications. Kasi walang silbi if I take medications, I might mistake my lowering of blood pressure, for example, due to my medication. So, kunwari ngayon, hindi pa ako low carb. Kinabukasan, I decided, okay, maglo-low carb ako. Strict low carb, yung tipong ketogenic level talaga. So I followed all the low carb foods. I avoided all the medium high carb foods. And then I stopped all medications. Takot na ako noon. Akala ko yung tipong magkaka-heart attack na ako. Kumakain ako ng liempo, kumakain ako ng lechon. It is said that animal fat is good. Saturated fat is good for your health. Parang kumukontra yung utak ko eh. So sabi ko, I'll just give myself at least 1 week. So, 1 week passed by, I was monitoring my weight. Sabi ko, teka, I lost, I think, 4 to 5 pounds 1 week lang. Hindi naman ako nagugutom. I lost 4 to 5 pounds. And then my BP, imagine, before I started low carb, my BP was ranging 140 over 90 to 140 over 100 on the average. After 1 week, naging 110 over 70. Persistent. Wala na akong gamot. Sabi ko, teka, ano to, miracle? Or talagang gumagana talaga yung low carb. Tapos, I'm losing weight. Nakikita ko sa graph nung application ko sa cellphone, yung may application nagmo-monitor ng weight at saka blood pressure. Pababa yung weight ko, pati body mass index, BMI. And then, to cut the long story short, I think after about one month, 4 to 6 months, all of my metabolic syndrome parameters normalized. Yung timbang ko, yung body mass index ko less than 25 na, from I think a high of 28 to 29. Yung Yung waistline ko, I lost, I think, 6 to 8 centimeters. And then, my triglyceride, after I did my blood test after, I think, a month, it went down to less than 100 already. Because I was really disciplined in doing low carb because I wanted to test it for myself. Parang ginawa kong guinea pig yung katawan ko. Sabi ko, yung tipong magkaka-heart attack na ako. Kung magkaka-heart attack, either way, may metabolic syndrome na rin ako. So, amazing. And then, during those times, every now and then, I hear my friends, they lose weight. They listen to he said, Dr. Rojo. Hindi ko pa, di ko pa narinig yung pangalan niyo po nun. Pero narinig ko palagi sa ibang mga pasyente ko. Sabi nila, nagkiketo daw sila. Sabi ko, sinong nagtuturo sa inyo? Nakikinig daw sila kay Dr. Rojo. Sabi ko, sino ba yung Dr. Rojo? Dr. Rojo na yan. Eventually, because of internet, I got to search. Meron palang doktora na nagle-lecture, nag-share ng low carb dito sa Philippines. Kasi I heard low carb often at that times from outside, from American sources like sina Ken Berry, then Dick Mancy, Dr. Robert Lustig, and ganun. So essentially, in a nutshell, that's what happened to me. So from then until now, I really keep myself low carb. Every now and then I eat. I check my parameters. I'm back to normal. I already reversed my metabolic syndrome. Kaya sabi ko, low carb effectively reverses metabolic syndrome. By that, I mean yung insulin resistance nare-reverse niya. So hindi yun fake news. Totoo yun. Evidence-based yun. Sabi ko sa mga pasyente ko, look at me. And then, it effectively lowers down blood sugar levels to normal, stuff like that. And in short, yung pag metabolically unhealthy ka, nagiging parang healthy ka na ulit. Di ba dati, ako, guilty ako niyan. Sinasabi ko sa mga pasyente ko, nagtatanong, Dok, inumpisan mo ako ng gamot para sa high blood. Kunwari, telmisartan, losartan. Hanggang kailan ko ito iinumin? Guilty ako. Palagi ko nang sinasabi yan sa pasyente ko dati. Lifetime maintenance mo na yan. Hindi na bababa yung blood pressure mo. Yung mga pre-diabetic, binibigyan ko ng acarbose o yung ibang mga gamot kaya na metformin. Sasabihin ko sa kanila, prepare to face the reality na lifetime medication mo na yan. Pero lately, since about almost 3 years ago, parang sinasabi ko sa pasyente, pasensya na ha, nung sinasabi ko yun sa inyo dati. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung katotohanan. Sabi ko, reversible yung diabetes, reversible yung hypertension, overall yung metabolic syndrome, reversible. Pwedeng tanggalin yung gamot. Ang dami ko ng pasyenteng nahinto yung gamot dyan. Because what I did to myself, I translated to my patients, and then I'm happy to say, siguro for the past more than 2 years that I also applied low carb to my metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance patients. Siguro almost 100% success rate. Yung tipong may improvement. 3 lang yung natandaan ko, walang improvement sa laboratory parameters. At saka alam mo ano yung reason, bakit?
Bakit no?
Hindi binago yung diet recommendation ko. Ganun pa rin, high carb pa rin. Hindi paano magbabago.
Maraming salamat, Doc, for sharing your story. And while you're talking, sobrang daming moments na ako'y nag-goosebumps. First, when you really told us na yung panahon na nagdududa ka, na ikaw mismo ay natatakot sa ginawa mo, na all the evidence is there, na low carb works, but since it goes against yung pinag-aralan natin before, ang hirap. It's like we know a certain truth our whole life, tapos bigla-bigla, here comes, merong bagong sinasabi na totally opposite sa ating nalalaman before. I admire you so much for taking the dip, for risking, and at least trying out on yourself. Kahit yung first week lang na dinedicate mo to try kung eto ba ay mag-work, because with your practice, so you've been in practice in minimum 10 to 15 years. 'di ba? As a doctor. So, ibig sabihin kasi nun, if you will admit na mali ka noon, na tama pala yung eto ngayon, it would mean na mali lahat ng ginawa mo sa previous patients mo. And it would be sobrang nakakakonsensya. I'm saying that because that's what I felt. Sobrang nakonsensya ko to think I was just in practice before when I discovered it few years lang. So how much more on you? That's why for our consultants na matagal na yung practice, I cannot really blame anyone na ayaw mag-dare to look into the facts when it comes to low carb nutrition and fasting and its benefits. Kasi nga, it will actually prove na marami na ginawa natin before is hindi talaga yung pinaka-best. Yes, it was the best to our knowledge during that time. Pero knowing what we know now, alam mo, sobra tayong dami nating gusto bawiin sa mga sinabi natin sa ating mga patients na sinasabi natin na yung diabetes ay forever na. Once nagsimula na ka na ng gamot, hindi na yan matatanggal. Yan, lifetime na yan. It's already a life sentence. But now we know na hindi yun ganon. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you na you were able to handle that. And yun, I think for us, we have to forgive ourselves din for the past. Kasi wala naman tayong other sources before eh. We were learning by the book, we were learning everything, kung ano yung pinasa sa atin, kung ano yung requirements nating pag-aralan. The exams are based on those books. So, kailangan yun talaga yung didibdibin mo, yung dapat paniniwalaan mo. And so, kung meron man tayong kailangan improve as compared to before, we can just forgive ourselves and we can make it up by now doing our best to correct that, especially sa mga current patients natin. So that's why I salute you, Doc, for stepping up and making yourself as the primary guinea pig mo. But now you are already a living testimonial that really low carb works. So maraming salamat po, Doc. So with your practice, ano-ano yung mga conditions na na-surprise ka, na na-address pala ng low carb other than hypertension and diabetes and metabolic syndrome?
Yung sa mga pasyente ko, is that what you mean? Yeah. So I told you after I experimented it on myself and I found like, 100, yung tipong naisip ko, teka, yung nababasa ko sa mga studies, mga research, na hindi ko naririnig doon sa convention. Totoo pala. May basis. Evidence-based. This is evidence-based medicine. Yung feeling ko, teka, I was scammed for 20 years. I've been practicing as a neurologist for more than 20 years. Parang na-feeling ko, parang, ba't ako na-scam? Parang ganun. So, I slowly trickle down what I learned to my own set of patients. Kami, mga neurologists, are, let's say, bread and butter are stroke patients. So, I dug down deeper. There was this article in the website of World Health Organization. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Last 2019, yung top 10 causes of death worldwide. So there are it can be divided into two subgroups, the communicable or the infectious diseases at saka yung pangalawa yung mga non-communicable diseases. Doon sa top 10 cause of death ng sa buong mundo, out of 10, only 3 are due to infectious disease or communicable disease. All the rest, 7 are
preventable.
At least 5 top 10% of death worldwide due to metabolic syndrome. Number 1 is heart attack, ischemic heart disease. Number 2 is stroke, so cerebrovascular disease. Saka lower down the list, you have dementia. Do you know that dementia, there are many studies now classifying dementia as type 3 diabetes, which is due to brain insulin resistance. I suppose you've heard of that already because you've been low carber for so long. And then it impacts really my own practice because I see many dementia patients every now and then because they go to neuro. For the longest time, I've been giving them medications. And then it just lately that I came across journal articles that it is often due to insulin resistance of the brain. Tapos, of course, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, one of the top 10 causes of death worldwide. At saka, I think top 10 is kidney diseases. Yung kidney disease, mostly they have chronic kidney disease. They have kidney dysfunction, malfunction because of two main reasons. Diabetes at saka yung hypertensive nephrosclerosis. Nasira yung kidney dahil sa diabetes at saka komplikasyon ng high blood. So, sabi ko, pinakamalaking killer worldwide talaga tong insulin resistance metabolic syndrome na to. Tapos, yung AHA moment ko, eureka moment, or however you call that, Satori moment, parang naisip ko, ang dami-dami ko ng stroke patients na namatay under my care, mga severe stroke patients na nagiging comatose after a few hours or a few days. They did not survive in the ICU kasi malaki yung stroke, malaki yung dugo dun sa loob ng utak. Tapos naisip ko, naku, halos lahat sa kanila complications ng metabolic syndrome. So parang one of my greatest realizations is, paano pag for the longest time I have awakened to the fact that metabolic syndrome, the foremost driver is chronic, frequent, especially refined carbohydrates in the diet. Pag like let's say 15 years ago, sana siguro yung mga pasyente kong yun na hindi nag-survive ng stroke, naisip ko, paano pag I gave them the advice already na you have to improve your diet, you have to avoid high carbohydrate intake, and then avoid insulin resistance, avoid metabolic syndrome, avoid the worst case scenario complication like stroke, heart attack. Sabi ko, siguro, marami pa siguro sa kanila. Buhay pa hanggang ngayon. So it's a very, very poignant moment for me. Parang nakaka-konsensya rin, di ba? So eventually, I made it a point that for every patient that crosses my path in the clinics and in the hospital, admitted patients or outpatient, I sniff something like metabolic syndrome in them. Yung tipong kunwari na po, yung liver enzyme tumataas, yung SGOT, SGPT, tapos medyo mataba, nako, metabolic syndrome na to. Ang dami. Alam mo, Doc Grace, I couldn't remember a day in the past 2 years na clinic day ko na wala akong metabolic syndrome patient. Even young women, pumupunta sa akin, karamihan ng mga let's say, fertile age women, at saka even adolescents, they come to me. Yung pinaka-major symptom nila, headache. So, a lot of them have either tension headache or often migraine. Tapos, marami sa kanila, mataba na. Sabi ko, parang ang laki nito BMI yata, nakakalculate ko na sa utak ko, BMI yata nito, overweight, obese, class 1, class 2. Tapos, along the interview, they shared to me what happened to them. And then often na-encounter ko, they tell me they were diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Yung mga fertile age young women na pupunta sa akin na migraine, sabi ko, another indication, probably metabolic syndrome to. So I do the lab tests, and then voila, talagang often I find elevated triglyceride, mababa yung HDL at times, mataas na yung liver enzymes, especially yung ALT or SGPT, which is the main enzyme that elevates first in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, diba? And then kulang na lang, mag-ultrasound ako, malamang may fatty liver disease na. So sabi ko, talagang ang daming pasyenteng may metabolic syndrome. So for those patients, even those like what I told you, those young women, patients of mine who cross my path in the clinics, I offer them the option, you know what, your condition right now, including your migraine, kasi I was reading journal articles several times already. I often come across quite a correlation between migraine and metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance. So I was thinking, probably since migraine is an inflammatory entity, so metabolic syndrome is highly inflammatory. So probably it's pushing these patients to have more migraine attacks. So good news for all those patients, lalo na mga polycystic ovarian syndrome PCOS patients ko na punta na sa OB, binigyan ng pills, Diane, etc. Yung mga estrogen-containing pills para daw mag-menstruate. May iba binigyan ng metformin. Iba, infertile, kaya nagko-clomiphene or yung mga gamot binibigay ng OB sa kanila to help them become pregnant. And then I told them, you know what? Did your doctor tell you to improve your diet? Sabi nila, yes, doc. Sabi nila, I have to lose weight. That's what my doctor told me. Often I hear that. And then I told them, and then what? How did your doctor tell you to lose weight? Sabi nila, sabi ng patient sa akin, well, the doctor told me I have to cut down on my, I have to do diet. By diet, they mean to say, cut down on food. Yun, parang magpakagutom ka na lang, gano'n. Saka, cut down on fatty foods, the usual. At saka, exercise daw. O yun, para bababa yung timbang. And then, I told them, you know what? Tinatanong ko sila, naging effective. Sabi na, ang hirap to for the longest number of years. Gusto kong, magpapayat kasi talagang mataba na ako. Yung iba, umaabot ng obese class 2. BMI, more than 30, 35. Tapos sabi ko, gusto mong mag-diet yung sabi ko sila, gusto mo mag-proper human diet. Yun kasi tawag ni Dr. Ken Berry doon proper human diet. Yung tipong para maging metabolically healthy ka ulit. Karamihan sa kanila, why not? Sabi ko. Pero sabi nila, pero nagda-diet na naman ako, Doc. Pero sabi ko, baka mali naman kasi yung diet mo. So I tell them, I give them, I have this printed out guide, more or less like yours, yung sa akin kasi parang traffic light Go, Go Foods, Ocean, at saka Stop. So sabi ko, yung piliin mo yung mga pagkain na nasa Go. Ibig sabihin, low carb yun. Kasi ang daming nagkakamali. Iniisip nila, low carb, pero hindi naman. Yung common misconception sa mga pasyente ko, kunwari, hindi na daw sila nagra-rice. Tapos pagbalik sa clinic after 1 to 2 months, medyo pangit pa rin yung profile ng blood chemistry. Sabi ko, what seems to be the situation here? So sabi na, hindi na ako nagra-rice in the morning. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa mo? Pinalitan ko yung rice ko ng 2 to 3 cups oatmeal. So,
high carb pa rin.
High carb pa rin. Yung iba, sabi na hindi na ako nagra-rice stock. Healthier na yung choices ng foods ko. Sabi nila, sabi ko, anong pinipili mo, pinalit mo sa rice? Sabi na, in the afternoons, kinakain ko, na lang, yung kamote at saka saging.
Nasaba.
Yung kasaba. Ano yung kasaba sa Tagalog? Yung kasaba, So, high carb pa rin. Pero you know what? For those patients who successfully follow the low carb regimen, kasi nandun sa listahan. Dati wala akong listahan. Ang hirap mag-instruct sa pasyente. Pagbalik, ang daming mali. Sabi ko, gagawa kaya ako ng lista. Gaya ng ginagawa ni Doc Grace. So, gumawa ako ng lista. Mas mataas na yung success rate. Mas nalaman nila ko alin yung low carb at saka high carb. Kasi dati, dinidisregard ko. Sabi ko, ang dali namang i-identify alin yung high carb. Of course, yung starchy foods, high carb. Pero I realized on a layperson level, medyo ang dami palang nalilito. Parang yung, di ba, French fries, healthy daw. French fries. Ang taas ng carbohydrate nun. Pupunta ka sa McDonald's, Jollibee, kain ka ng French fries. Tapos tulak mo ng Coke, di ba? Parang ganun. So, I'm very happy to say, among those PCOS patients of mine, pagbalik after 1 to 2 months, parang pumapayat, bumabalik sa normal BMI, saka yung menstruation nila, bumabalik na sa, almost monthly. Sabi ko, talagang it works. These things that I just read as the manifestations of metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. Hindi lang sa stroke ha, yung PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, yung fatty liver. Kasi karamihan ng doktor, alam mo ano sasabihin sa pasyente na may fatty liver? Huwag kang kumain ng fat para mabawasan yung fatty liver mo. O, di ba? I think you heard that lots of times. So, I think those are among the other patients in my line of practice that I get to come across na talagang natutulungan na ma-reverse dahil sa low carb. Kasi all of them are related pa rin dun sa insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, so to say.
Thank you, Doc, for sharing that. So, medyo specific tayo ngayon sa mga pagkain mo before. You mentioned that you were a vegetarian for the longest time. So, meaning walang meat, especially red meat, especially fatty meat. Kamusta ang pakiramdam mo noon? And then, you also mentioned na tumataas yung triglycerides mo before and uric acid despite not eating meat, being vegetarian. How's your fruit intake? Kasi noon when you are still not low carber, for all of those na ngayon pa nakilala si Doc, Doc is from Cagayan de Oro. So, he's from Mindanao. So, alam naman natin, fruit basket capital yun ng Pilipinas. Sobrang daming prutas doon at sobrang tatamis ng kanilang prutas. How was your fruit intake before? Gaano kadami?
Spot on. Kasi di ba, if you're a vegetarian, what are the healthiest foods? Fruits and vegetables, yeah. So, yun, kain ako ng saging, ng all fruits because, mangga, apple, at saka hindi lang yun, fruit juice. Punta ka sa the grocery, saka 7-Eleven, di ba may marami dong all natural, organic fruit juice, tapos healthy daw yun. Kasi that's what we were made to believe, di ba? Kasi fruit and vegetables are healthy. So, yun, inom ako. Pati nga, naisip ko, Zesto probably is healthy. yung mga manufactured juice. So, dumating ako dun sa point na this would be healthier than Coke. O, yun, ganun. So, since it's fruits, okay, I was eating a lot. When I go to the grocery, the supermarket, I buy fruits kasi it's part of a balanced diet, so to say. Pati saging, 1 to 2 bananas per meal. O, yung ganon.
Wow.
O, yun pala, 1 banana. I check, 30 grams carbohydrates isang banana. Oh. So, basically, ganon niya. I'm sure a lot of your viewers would have, if they're not yet low carbers, they will believe fruits with vegetables are healthy. So yun, cool. Guilty ako nun. Pati pasyente ko, yun yung ina-advise ko. Pero later on, I realized, yun pala, most fruits are high in carbohydrates because they are rich in fructose. And fructose is, if not the most, it's one of the biggest drivers of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and hyperuricemia. There was this, I've been listening to many of the lectures of Dr. Dick Johnson sa, I think, University of Minnesota yata yun siya. He's a researcher on hyperuricemia. So, he nicely illustrated that, fructose is the main driver for elevation of uric acid. So, I learned that later only. Things like this, they don't get trickled down to our conferences kasi, kunwari, yung lecture ni Dr. Richard Johnson, just cut down your fructose and sugar and carbohydrate intake, then there is a good chance that your uric acid levels will go down. So, wala namang drugs involved dun so walang mag-sponsor.
Walang sponsor.
Diba? So, you know what? Yung uric acid ko, bumaba. The biggest drop ever since when I started low carb. So that proved, at least, na tama pala yung nabasa ko na mga research na one of the biggest driver of elevated uric acid is fructose and sugar and carbohydrates in the diet.
Thank you so much.
Triglyceride ko bumaba.
Oo,
Kasi
triglyceride.
the biggest driver of hypertriglyceridemia niya is still carbohydrates. Yeah.
Yes. Oo. Tapos nakita ko yan, parang namula talaga ako sa malaking problem na ganyan pala, especially in Mindanao. May mga pasyente and may events there, yung mga meet and greet ko in the previous years, na ang papayat, ang liliit na mga babae, you will never think na meron silang fatty liver. So yun, they are non-fat formers. Tulad nyo mo before, lumalaki yung tiyan lang. Pero yung kamay, yung paa, hindi mo mahahalata. So, those are yung tinatawag nating TOFI. Thin outside, pero fat inside. Kasi nga, nasa loob. So, thank you so much, Doc, sa shinare mo sa amin. Meron tayong babasahin, few comment lang. Like si Mary Joy, na teacher daw, 24 years now. First time siyang mag-18 hours fasting today. Surprisingly, nakapagkandak ako ng classes ko na full pa rin ang energy ko. Still manage to smile, hindi irritable, I am okay. Hindi rin sumakit yung sikmura. Amazing talaga ang low carb and fasting. Sana matry yung iba. And for all of those of you na makikilala si Doc, follow his page. Meron siyang website and then his YouTube channel din. So makikita niyo doon. Just search on it, Low Carb Neurologist. Si Dr. Don Agcopra po yan. And merong isang tanong dito, Doc, very specific. Maraming tanong actually, but since you're a neurologist, eto na lang. How about addressing neuralgia through low carb? Having this for years on and off medication dahil ayaw ko nga matali sa meds like Targeretrol and Rivotril. I know with my experience, I manage these also, na-i-improve siya, pero it might take time. But how about you, Doc? How's your experience with neuralgia?
That's an interesting question from your viewer, Doc Grace, now, because I think a few days ago, there was this 67 years old patient who came to me, diagnosed diabetic for, I think, 15 years, if I remember it right. Tapos, napunta siya sa akin dahil nakita daw niya ako sa Facebook. At saka, ang saya-saya niya. Nagtataka ako, ba't masaya tong tao to? Kasi sabi niya, nakahanap daw siya ng low-carb doctor dito sa Cagayan de Oro. Gusto niyang magkonsulta. Sabi ko, bakit sir? Ang dami na yung sinasabi. Sabi niya, nag-low-carb siya for 9 months. 9 months, yeah. But he was being handled by an endocrinologist, yung doktor sa diabetes. So, yung una daw niyang tinanong, kasi yung mamang yon mahilig magbasa. Nagre-research sa sakit niya. Sabi niya, ang dami kong nababasa. Nare-reverse yung diabetes pag maglo-low carb. Nababasa daw niya. Yun yung advantage ng generation natin ngayon. Information is at your fingertips. Pero yun nga lang, dahil sa ang dami-daming informasyon, hindi mo alam kung alin yung totoo, alin yung hindi. So yung mamang yun, ang dami niyang nabasa. Sabi niya, low carb reverses diabetes. So, nung nag-follow up siya sa doktor niya ng diabetes, yung endocrinologist, about a year ago, sinabi niya, Dok, ang dami kong nababasa. Pwede daw i-reverse yung diabetes ko with low carb. Nabanggit ko yung case na yan dahil may neuropathy rin siya, yung diabetic polyneuropathy. Yung fingertips niya at saka yung toes niya, may yung tinatawag natin na pins and needles. Ewan ko ano yun sa Tagalog. Yung parang
tinutusok-tusok.
Parang tinutusok-tusok. Yeah, yung ganun. Which is one of the more common manifestations of damage to the nerves because of long-standing diabetes or elevated blood sugar. Tapos sabi niya, 9 months na siyang naglo-low carb. Nung nag-follow up siya dun sa endocrinologist niya a year ago, sabi niya, Dok, nabasa ko ganito. Sabi alam mo anong sabi nung doktor sa kanya? Sabi niya, huwag kang maniwala niyan. Maling-mali yan. Ano lang yan? Fad. Fake news yan. Sabi nung doktor ng diabetes sa kanya. Pero siya, in fairness, sabi niya, paano nagiging fake news? Mga journal studies. Imagine, pasyente nagbabasa ng journal studies. Na nare-reverse yung diabetes with low carb. So sabi niya, naku, sabi niya doon sa doktor, journal study to, Dok. Sabi pa rin ng doktor, ako, hindi yan, mali yan. Hindi yan tinuro sa amin. Well, in fairness to that doctor, probably, honestly, hindi pa siya naka-encounter ng reversal ng diabetes with low carbohydrate diet. Kahit common sense, di ba? So, yun, yung ginawa ng pasyente yun, siya na mismo, sabi niya, ako, hindi na ako babalik sa doktor na yun. Ako na lang mag-try, mag-low carb. So, 9 months ago, he started low carb. Nagre-research siya. I think nakikinig rin siya sa channel mo, etc. Saka yung si Dr. Eric Berg yata. So, something like that. So, talagang, ang dami-dami na niyang alam nung pumunta siya sa akin sa clinic dahil nagre-research siya sa low carb ng, kusa sa kanya, sariling sikap. No, walang doktor na nag-guide. So, pero nagla-laboratory test siya. Sabi niya, yung dating A1C ko, Doc, na umaabot ng 8, nung naglo-low carb ako, nagiging 6.1 na lang. Proud siya. Tapos, nung pumunta siya sa akin, sabi ko, ba't kayo napunta dito, sir? Kasi, happy ako. Nakakita ko ng low carb na doktor na naiintindihan ng ginagawa daw niya. Tapos, his neuropathy, yung pins and needles, yung parang tusok-tusok na napapansin niya dun sa fingertips niya at saka sa soles, sa paa, nawala daw after, I think, 1 to 2 months na low carbohydrate. So naisip ko, reversible pati yung complications ng diabetes with low carb. Kasi sabi niya, for the longest time, at least 6 months na yata, wala na talaga. Dati nagka-carbamazepine siya. Yun, yung Tegretol na yan. Saka yung Ribotril, na minsan binibigay rin namin yan. Pero yun nga, imagine good news like this. It's like, parang naisip mo parang miracle, pero talagang science, evidence-based pala to. Nare-reverse yung complications ng diabetes, including neuropathy or neuralgia is just a painful kind of neuropathy. Yun. Tama ka dyan.
Thank you, Doc. Maraming salamat. Sabi nga ni Maria din na recently diagnosed daw with IHD, ischemic heart disease, and depression. Now, we know now, kahit yung psychiatric conditions like depression is very, very much affected pa rin ng ating way of eating. So, what we feed our body, it can make or break us. So, yun nga, depression can just be one of the manifestations of inflammation pa rin. Hindi na sila exclusive to each other. They are part of the spectrum. Hindi natin talaga ma-underestimate yung problem that inflammation can give. And yun nga, it might sound so simple, pero yes, reducing although yung iba, marami pang kailangang ibang fine-tuning, but generally, if you are coming from a very high-carb diet, sobrang laki ng improvement. 80 to 90% can be improved with just reduction of your high carbohydrate intake. And then, yung gusto ko kay Doc, kasi we've been teaching LCHF, di ba? But gusto ko yung definition ni Doc ng LCHF. Hindi siya low carb, high fat, but it's low carb, healthy fats. And I think it is much, much better na definition. So, ang ganda nun, Doc. So, Doc, before we end, tell us kung ano yung mga typical day mo at anong kinakain mo in a typical day.
Okay, yung ginagawa ko, yun rin yung sinasabi ko sa mga pasyente ko. Kasi parang I try to keep it, parang KISS, keep it simple as possible. Recommendation sa pasyente. Pag hindi ka gutom, huwag kang kumain. Kasi yung signal ng katawan natin na nangangailangan tayo ng nutrition is yung gutom, di ba? So I told them, if you're not hungry, don't eat. That means your body is not looking for nutrients. So why will you eat? So yung habit eating, sabi ko, kalimutan mo yan. Kalimutan mo na time to eat is breakfast, lunch, dinner, yung ganun. Sabi ko, eat when you're hungry. If you're not hungry, then don't eat. And if you are already full, when you're after eating for some time, then don't overeat kasi signal na yan ng katawan mo na sapat na yung sustansya na nakain mo. So yun yung number 1 sinasabi ko. So sabi ko, pangalawa, pagkakain ka, lalo na sa mga may metabolic syndrome or insulin insulin resistance patients ko na nire-reverse ko pa lang. Sabi ko, medyo stricto muna tayo sa pagkain. Avoid high carb, maintain low carb. May lista akong binibigay. So, yun yung piliin nyo kung ano yung kakainin nyo doon. Well, hindi ibig sabihin na time to eat, then you can splurge whatever food you want because we are trying to reverse the years and years of damage to your metabolism. So yun, eat low carb and high healthy fat. And then avoid high carb. So pangatlo, sabi ko, doon na yun papasok yung fasting, intermittent fasting. Kasi sabi ko, tingnan mo, kunwari ako, I don't eat breakfast anymore kasi I don't feel hungry. So, hindi ako kakain. Kasi ba't ako kakain? Hindi pa ako gutom. So, yung nangyayari, naturally, I do intermittent fasting na kasi umabot ako ng, I think, 14 to 16 hours on the average na hindi ko makain before my next meal. Kasi, parang I just eat when I'm hungry. And if I don't feel hungry, I don't eat. I don't require myself to eat. Kunwari, yung isang common habit pag manunod ng sine, kakain ng popcorn at saka pantulak na Coke. Nako, masamang masama. Hindi ka nangagutom. Kumakain ka pa ng pagkain while watching a movie. At then, yung kinakain mo pa, high carbohydrate. Kaya ang daming tumataba. Ang daming may metabolic syndrome. So, yun. I think those are the three things. So, of course, kunwari, morning, I don't eat. So, the first time I probably eat is like after 12 noon already. Sometimes 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Kung kailan ako magugutom, if I feel a little bit hungry before 12 and then if ever ayaw ko pang kain, then I drink either tea or coffee. Yung black coffee, of course, no? Yung walang sugar. And then, afterwards, dati, hindi ako kumakain ng crispy pata. You know, crispy pata. Ngayon, kumakain ako ng crispy pata. Imagine, I have lunch, for example, at 2 p.m., I air fry crispy pata and then I eat one slab of crispy pata together with some veggie like ginisang kangkong or lettuce. Or yung ganon. Hindi na ako takot sa karne ngayon eh. Dati, naku, talagang takot ako sa karne. After reading a lot, naku, scam pala yun. Na it will lead to high blood pressure. I tell my patients, it's not pork or beef that will lead to your hypertension. It's eating much sugar and highly refined carbohydrates. It's not the lechon that will cause you hypertension or high blood pressure. It's the only rice that you eat with lechon. Di ba? Nakakatawa. So, essentially, that's what I do. And then towards evening, if I'm hungry again, yung Korean, anong tawag doon? Samgyeopsal, right? Samgyeopsal. So, I tell them, no wonder many Koreans are not really obese because they eat samgyeopsal, grilled meat, and then wrap it with lettuce and greens, vegetables, and then, well, they eat a little rice. Pero sabi ko, you can eat samgyeopsal, just don't eat much of the rice. If you can avoid the rice, especially if you still have metabolic syndrome symptoms, then avoid the rice. Then just eat the protein and the high healthy fats. I think your viewers are also aware already of the difference between healthy fats and the non-healthy kinds of fats like the seed oils, the praise. So essentially, those are my day-to-day foods that I choose to eat.
Thank you very much, Doc. Sobrang nakakatuwa at sobrang daming masayang-masaya in our community right now. Because finally, especially sa mga in Mindanao, malapit lang kayo in Cagayan, you can visit Doc Don Agcopra. Sir, saan po kayo nila ma-reach out? Aside from your YouTube channel na I believe it's Low Carb Health Doctor. Tama ba? Low Carb Health Doctor. And yung website naman ni Doc is www.lowcarbneurologist.com.
Yeah. It's there. They can get all the links in my website. Yeah.
Okay.
I have the links for you
So visit na.
there, the podcast, etc. Hindi ako kasing active mo. Ang busy ko. But I do my best
It's
to do those videos for advocacy to the patients and to everyone else in the whole world.
Maraming salamat po, Doc. And yes, yun nga, we hope to see you in the upcoming National Low Carb Day. So sa mga hindi pa nakakapag-register, I hope you can register now. Or kung nahihirapan sila mag-register through our channel, message na lang po yung mga admins natin sa ating mga pages. Sila na po ang tutulong sa inyo how you can register. So that's on October 1, 2023, National Low Carb Day. And let's pray na maging free si Doc. Sana wala na siyang admitted patient kasi lahat na ma-manage niya outpatient basis and he will be free to join us. So, thank you so much, Doc. Any last words before tayo mag-goodbye sa ating mga patient, sa ating mga viewers, and you can get back to your patients as well?
Last word, low carb, high fat works. It's evidence-based. At saka, yung slogan ko in my advocacy, let's all fight metabolic syndrome. We can do it. We can reverse it.
Maraming salamat, Doc. Yes, we will be with you in this fight. So before we end, picture muna tayo, Doc. Smile, Doc. Thank you so much po. Maraming salamat. Bye-bye, Doc. Till next time. God bless po.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.